In this lesson 6 of Step-by-Step into Soloing for Guitar, we're going to cover some really interesting stuff that you're going to want to really spend the time to learn. A little thing called 3/2. And what that means is 3 notes played over 2 beats in a smooth and flowing way. You'll recognize it if you're a fan of blues at all. Once you learn this lick, you'll go, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. Okay, so let's just dive right in and get you going. This first diagram, let's cover the first measure. We're in first position, and we're going to start on the 2nd string at the 5th fret. And so play that note, and then your 4th finger at the 8th fret on the same 2nd string. Go to the 1st string, 5th fret, 1st finger, then back down to the 8th fret of the 2nd string. 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. 3rd finger, 7th fret of 3rd string. 1st finger, 5th fret of 3rd string. 4th string, 3rd finger on the 7th fret. 1st finger, 5th fret of 4th string. 7th fret of the 5th string with your 3rd finger. 1st finger at the 5th fret of the 5th string. 2nd finger on the 6th string. 6th fret of the 5th string. And I know that leaves you hanging. All right, so here's what it's supposed to sound like. A 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Okay, all triplets, pretty straightforward stuff. We're just adding what's called the blue note here. We call it a flat 5 or a sharp 4 or a sharp 11, depending on how you want to refer to it. But that's the blue note. And so stop the video, walk through this, play through it, get it square in your head, and then we'll continue. All right, you ready for the next measure? This is the 3/2 we mentioned a little bit ago, and it's pretty cool stuff. It's going to challenge you. All right? So it's played like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Okay? And that's it. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. So you're going to use your 3rd finger at the 7th fret of the 5th string. Let it stay there. Add your 2nd finger at the 6th fret of the 4th string. Add your 1st finger at the 5th fret of the 3rd string and lay it down for the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Okay, now, how do you count that out? You're going, oh my goodness, that's just really, that's hard. No, not really. I'm going to show you a diagram. Okay, let me get this sized up. Let me get this right. Okay, so, all right, there it is. Now, you can see what I'm doing here. So, now, remember these 3 notes. So, put your finger there at the 7th fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger, then your 2nd finger at the 6th fret of the 4th string, and your 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd and 2nd string. I'll leave it there and just mute it. Now, you'll notice the original figure is a big 3 on top over 3 quarter notes. Okay? And then you have a half note there. Now, what we do in the 2nd line, you'll see it says convert quarter notes to 8th notes. So we take 1 and 2 and 3 and then we have 4 and 5 and. We have 5 beats there suddenly. Hold on. We're going to reorder those eighth notes into 2 groups of 3. So now they're triplets. So each triplet is 1 beat. 1 and a, 2 and a, then the half note, 3 and a, 4 and a is 2 beats. So now we are back to 4 beats. Hot dog. So now what you're going to want to do is play specific notes. So we're going to identify specific note timing. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3, 4. So you notice the underlined 1, and in that 4th line. So 1 and a, 2 and a, 3, 4. Okay? So what I whispered, you don't play. What I spoke out loud, you do play. So apply it here. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3, 4. Okay? Do that again. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3, 4. Now in the 5th line, you'll see we actually carry over 2 eighth notes into one another. So 1 and a, 2 and a, 3, 4. So remember we talked about ties? These swoopy lines are ties. So we're going to tie the first and the second note of the first triplet, the third note of the first triplet, and the first note of the second triplet together. And then we're going to tie the second and third notes of the second triplet together. So that it's 1 and a, 2 and a, 3. Okay? Now, if it occurs on the 3rd beat, it's no different. 3 and a, 4 and a, 1. That half note just becomes the first beat of the next measure. Solidify the count, nail the timing, then play the part. So we're back to the beginning. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3. So when you see that 3 over 2, whether it's at the beginning of the measure or the second half, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1, that's exactly what it's talking about. Okay? So let's go back to the graphic. Now we can play this, right? Let me shrink this back down. Whee! Okay. Now you know how to play that measure. Put your fingers back there. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3, 4. Okay? So here's what, okay, so pause if you want and get this, get that correct. Count it out loud. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. So here's the value of counting in triplets. When you count this out and do it the way we just showed you, you'll never get it wrong. You'll always have it right. And then in the long run, you'll be able to play it by feel. And let me show you by playing this whole 2 measures just the way I might normally play it. 3, 4. I can play it without thinking about it now because I know how it's supposed to sound, how it feels when you play that 3 over 2. Okay, so let's play through this nice and slow. I'll count it out in triplets. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. You count this right. When you land on 3, you'll always be right on time when you count it out right. 1 and a 2, well, 1 and a 2 and a 3. Even if you're counting it out fast, you just need to know which note you're supposed to, what part of the count you're supposed to play each note on. 1 and a 2 and a 3, right? So 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a, right? This will take a little getting used to. I totally understand that. Pause the video, play through this, count it out, you know, rewind if you have to look at the diagram. I've given it to you in the written form as well, so you can look at the written example and walk through that and understand it clearly, and you'll never get this 3/2 thing wrong ever again, even if you're just playing single notes in a lead guitar part. If you understand 3/2, you'll know exactly how to count it out. The object is to get you beyond counting to feeling it correctly. But once you understand how it sits in the count, where the notes are played, then it's easier to get you to the feel part, okay? I know I spent a lot of time on this bit, but it's a really critical thing to learn how to do, and it's awesome when you can play it right. So pause the video, practice this, and then when you're ready, we'll keep going. Press play and forge ahead. Okay, that was a lot of fun, hey? Learned something really cool, and you learned a trick, how to play that 3/2. Okay, so now we're just gonna play a little more. These are kind of easy licks, so they should be pretty straightforward, okay? So we're just gonna start in the first position. You're gonna play 7th fret on the 4th string with your 3rd finger, and then 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string 2 times, back to the 4th string at the 7th fret with your 3rd finger, and then back to the 3rd string, 1st finger at 5th fret, 3rd finger at the 7th fret of the 3rd string, back to the 5th fret, same string, and then back to the 4th string at the 7th fret. And then we're going to go back to the 3rd string at the 5th fret, back to the 4th string at the 7th fret with the 3rd finger, 1st finger at 5, 3rd finger at the 7th fret on the 5th string. See a tie there? That means you hold that note over for the first part of the 3rd beat, then pick it up on the end of 3, same note, and then back to the 5th fret of the 4th string, and then back to the 7th fret of the 5th string. Okay, so here's how it would sound. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Okay? Got it? So that second measure is 1 and a 2 and a 3, don't play 3, and 4 and a. Now if you were counting it 1 and 2, it would be like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you would pick it up on the and of 3. Remember, and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Pause the video. Rewind and review if you need to. Pause it, play it, put it to a metronome. Same thing with the previous licks that you've been learning. Put it to a metronome, always. Play it slow and steady, smooth and flowing. Get it right. Get the count right. Get the feel right, the shuffle feel. Okay? Then when you're ready, restart the video and we'll keep going. All right. Now we're going to have some fun with double stops at the beginning of this thing. All right? So you're going to start with your first finger at 5 on the first and second string. And you're going to move up with your fourth finger to the 8th fret on the first and second string. Third finger at the 7th fret on the first and second string. Back to your first finger, first and second string. And then your third finger on the second and third string at the 7th fret. And then your first finger on the second and third string at the 5th fret. And then your first or third finger at 7 on the 4th string. Your first finger at 5 on the 4th string. Your third finger at 7 on the 5th string. Your second finger on 6 on the 5th string, the blue note. Your first finger at 5 on the 5th string. Back up to 6 with your second finger on the 5th string. Third finger at 7 on the 5th string. First finger at the 5th fret on the 4th string. Third finger, 7th fret, 4th string. First finger, 5th fret of the 3rd string. 7th fret with your third finger on the 3rd string. First finger at 5 on 2. And then slide your finger up starting somewhere around here on the 3rd string up to 9. So instead of bending, we're gonna slide. Okay? If you need to review that, I know I walked through it a little quick, but it's pretty straightforward. And it's all triplets. So here's what it would sound like. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay? A little bit of fun with double stops. Now, if you really feel like it, you can slur that back with your fourth finger. 1 and a, 2 and a. So you can do that too. Or if you want to do it with your third finger. 1 and a, 2. You can do that as well. That's a variation of how to play it. Right? Okay. Stop the video. Go over this. Get it in time. Put it to the metronome. Enjoy the process. You're doing great. All right? Then when you're ready, we'll keep going. Okay. So, looking to me like we pretty much, okay, got one more lick for you here. And we're going to be up in third position. And then we're going to move up into fourth position. Okay, so let me shift myself here. Okay, so in third position at 12 on the third string with your third finger, you're going to be playing the G to the A. Okay, so second finger there, thumb at 11-ish. So you're going to go 1 and, right? So you're going to bend that, then put this. Now remember, put your finger in such a way as that when this string comes back, your finger is actually muting it. So you can let go of the, right? I keep getting that there, so, yeah. Okay, so bend that up 2 frets. Then you got that right there at the second string, 10th fret. Do it again. Now, fourth finger, second string, 13th fret, back to the 10th fret, first finger, fourth finger at the 12th fret on the third string, first finger at 9. Okay, now you're going to jump to 12. on the 4th string. Second finger, 13 on the 4th string. Third finger, 14 on the 4th string. Okay, I'm just going to stop there for a moment. So you've got this bend, play there. So you're bending up to A, and then you're playing an A here. Do it again. And then 13th fret, 2nd string, 10th fret, 2nd string, 12th fret, 3rd string, 4th finger. 1st finger, 9th fret. Jump to 12th fret and the 4th string with your 1st finger, 13th fret with your 2nd finger. Okay? This is a tough jump. I introduced this because this concept of jumping in the middle of a lick is going to rear its head at some point. So that first measure would be counted out 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and, oops. See, I missed the jump. Let me do that again. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. And that's a setup for what happens in the next measure. So take your time, pause the video, go through this measure, get this. Just go ahead, go through that. Just practice that little jump right there. All right? Then when you're ready, continue and we'll keep going. Okay, so 4 and a, right? Now the next measure is 1. Okay, you start right there at the 14th fret on the 4th string with your 3rd finger. 1st finger at 12 on the 4th string. 3rd finger at 14 on the 5th string. 1st finger at 12 on the 5th string. Back up to 14 on the 5th string with your 3rd finger. Over to the 4th string, 12th fret with your 1st finger. 3rd finger at 14 on the 4th string. 1st finger on the 3rd string at the 12th fret, and then back to 14 on the 4th string with the 3rd finger. Okay, so that measure would go 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. So if you want to pause and practice that measure, go for it. Then when you're ready, press play and we'll keep going. So here's how the whole lick will sound. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay, let me do that one more time. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. So we're flipping between doing triplets and eighths, but still keeping the hesitation, the shuffle feel. Pause the video, review the demonstration if you need to, and then we'll keep going. All right, so we're pretty much there. Good. All right. This probably was one of the more challenging elements of this series, given that 3/2 thing and then the leap that you got to do in the last licks you just learned here just now. And that's okay. These are important things to learn because they're part of the overall approach to playing, playing lead guitar. And you're going to run into all of this stuff at some point. We've given you a foundation, the core elements. We've introduced you to most of the stuff you're going to run into throughout this course, okay, and just throughout all your playing. And when you learn songs by other people, right? So here's what we want you to do now. Pause. Before moving on to lesson 7, which is the beginning of learning the solo that you've been preparing to learn all the way through this, and it's different than what you've been learning, so just be aware of that. Go back and review the last 2 or 3 lessons at the very least, lessons 4, 5, and 6. If lessons 1, 2, and 3 are pretty clear in your head, good. Go back to 4, 5, and 6 and go through these last 3 lessons and make sure you understand what's going on here, because we've waded into deeper territory with those lessons. And we want you to understand them. We want you to understand the concepts being shown here in these 3 lessons at the very least, because you'll need them moving forward, okay? So we just want you to be well prepared for what's coming next, all right? So the next series of 4 lessons, I think 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 lessons, you'll be learning the solo that we have written out for you, so that you'll be using a lot of the elements that you've learned in these first 6 lessons, all right? So when you're ready to move on to start learning the song, the solo, and we encourage you to memorize it as well. When you're ready to start, move on to lesson 7 and we'll be waiting for you. Okay? We'll see you there. Hi, thanks for watching. Here at Outsmart Your Guitar, we are dedicated to helping you learn, play, and grow into becoming the guitar player you desire to be. So, that subscribe button, press it and subscribe. The notification bell, press that and you'll be notified when new videos are posted. The Patreon button, that'll take you over to Outsmart Your Guitar Patreon, and you can see what we got going on there, and then subscribe and become a patron. If you don't see any of that on the screen, well, down below the video, there's the big red subscribe button on the right, and then in the description, there is a link that'll take you to Patreon, Outsmart Your Guitar, and you can check it out that way. Okay, there you go. Thanks for your time. We'll see you next time.